Jack, Man City, they swept everybody last year. They did what a lot of people said I said couldn't have been done because United done it, but they won the treble, Jack. They won the treble, FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League. Next season, yeah, this coming season, they are the team to beat. And by the looks of this transfer window, the team that's almost unbeatable to Premier League in the Premier League and maybe to the Champions League too, of how they only conceded 2 goals in the whole Champions League campaign. To me, I feel a little bit more beatable now with the fact that they've lost Gündoğan. It looks like they're going to lose Riyad Mahrez. Kyle Walker's apparently out the door and like is quite keen to join Bayern Munich. But in this every single season, Bernardo Silva's linked away. I don't know what he is. He might say there. Emerick Laporte too might leave. So a team that was constructed with an amazing squad, they've lost some vital additions. And Kovacic is good, but I don't believe he's as good as Gundogan. And Riyad Mahrez, we know how special he is. Granted, he didn't feature last season, but you know what Guardiola's like. He likes to, like, 1 minute he likes you, the next minute he doesn't. Grealish is hot property right now. He might be benched next season. It's just the way how Guardiola is. But Jack, as it stands right now for you, first of all, are Man City weaker?
Yeah, 100%. Not because I think the squad necessarily is weaker, but I think you have to go back to the old saying that, James, if you're not moving forward, then you're going backwards. If you stay the same, you're going backwards. You said you rate Gündoğan higher than Kovacic, and I'll probably agree with you, but James, I think it's pretty close. I'm not going to lie, especially with Pep Guardiola as your coach. I think we're going to see the best out of Mateo Kovacic. That's for darn sure. What I'll say though, and I mentioned this in my table prediction video as well, James.
Guys, also go check that out, Jack's table
prediction. It's my version 1.0. There'll be more to come. If Newcastle put a big bid in for Kvaratskhelia, you can't tell me that Pep's not going to go, how much did they pay? And then just match it, give him a bit more money in wages, and then he's going to go to that, right? In the same way, Joshua Kimmich is supposedly available. Bayern Munich are happy to let him go, right? Barcelona have been linked. You're telling me Pep Guardiola, with Kyle Walker going out the door, Joshua Kimmich might want to come in, can also play midfield as well. Phil Foden is probably going to get more game time. Calvin Phillips, who we haven't seen at all, is probably going to come in and get more game time. They might try and bring some players through the academy. I would still be amazed if Man City don't spend over 100 million, over 150 million in this transfer window, maybe over 200 million. We know that Vardiol's going to be, what's he going to be, like 100 million or something, right? The player from Leipzig. So again, I expect the reinforcements to come. My one thing that I would consider, and I don't mean to open it up this way though, are they bracing a bit for, man, we're in trouble with UEFA with these charges and stuff, and hey, we need to be careful. My opinion is still, I think they'll spend a lot of money. They're just going to act a little later in the window, but I don't know.
Acting late is something that is definitely an option. I look at the fact that they lost Riyad Mahrez. They're going to have to bring in a replacement. Is that going to be a Rafila, Kvaratskhelia, as Jack mentioned it? If he comes in, then we're having a whole different sort of conversation now.
Yeah, exactly.
And certain players won't be guaranteed a start there. City are still the team to beat, Jack.
Yes.
But when you look at him, when you look at a player like, to me, Gündoğan, and I get how good Kovacic is, but there's something about Gündoğan that made him special. He had that clutchness to him, and I don't look at a player like Kovacic and I think, yeah, he gives me the same presence. Maybe Bernardo Silva slots in to midfield, and like that might be sorted there, because if they can get Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, and Rodrigo on, then okay, they're good. But when I look at the overall squad, Jack, it has gotten weaker, and that's always been a big plus for a Pep Guardiola team. It's never always been about the main 11. It's never been about that, Jack. It's always been about, if he goes, there's somebody else coming in, and that's Jack. And like that, and Jack, that's what we've talked about for about 4 or 5 years with Pep Guardiola. This incredible, crazy squad depth. And I get it. People are going to say you got players like young players like Cole Palmer coming through. But you got to be truthfully honest, Jack. This is Pep Guardiola we're talking about there. Are they at that level? Because we're not talking here. No one is going to expect Manchester City to just challenge for top four next season. We know what we're going to expect. Another Premier League title. In fact, 4 in a row, which is going to be a Premier League record. They're going to expect to be the favorites to win the Champions League, Jack. That's a lot of expectations there. Yep. Yeah. If Man City can't meet them expectations, yeah, there's going to be, listen, what's going on with his team, failures. And I'm not sure the players coming in from the youth squad would be able to manage them sort of expectations, because I get it, it's a man next, but let's just say if Phil Foden gets injured, is Cole Palmer going to be the one going to lead Manchester City out week in and week out? You know, Rico Lewis, players like that who are good, but can they be the one to go on go away in a tough European game? These are the sort of questions that I gotta ask. Because Guardiola's team has always been about great depth, and if they don't have that, Jack, to me, the rest of the Premier League gonna look at them and be like,
it's tasty,
more vulnerable than before. But don't get it twisted, Jack. It's Pep Guardiola, and if anybody can squeeze everything out of every single player in that squad, it's him. You know, he's Jack. If this was any other manager, I would have felt, okay, there's a chance of a slip up. He's just, to me, he's a sicko. That's the only problem.
He is. Like I said, I do still think we'll see more from Foden. We'll see more from Calvin Phillips. James, João Cancelo is back. I don't know how they're going to deal with that situation. I don't know. Maybe he's going to play central midfield. I don't know what Pep's cooking up.
Jack, I have to say, I think he's the most unwanted football player in world football right now.
Feels like it. And I have no idea how we got here, by the way, because he's a good player.
Do you remember the talk like last season? I'm talking about like September, October time. Best fullback in the world, and all that people are marveling at his displays. And now, Jack, he was unwanted at Bayern Munich. Manchester City fans don't want to touch him, especially after winning the treble. There's rumors of him going back to Saudi. Real Madrid don't like. It's a weird one. Before he was the best, and now no one wants him, which is quite odd. I think he's definitely an odd man out. You know.
I just refuse to believe that there won't be, like, James, you know, we know that a lot of Italian teams have to balance the books here, right? There's a reason why Sandro Tonali left Milan. It's not because he wanted to. It's because the money that was being offered was insane. We've heard rumours about Nicola Barella. Could that be of interest to Manchester City, right? James, Federico Chiesa is supposedly available for the right money. Could that be a nice little marriage, nice little replacement on that right-hand side for Man City? Absolutely. And again, Joshua Kimmich, you know, James, Marco Verratti's name's been thrown around a lot. Leandro Paredes is supposedly available as well. I think there's plenty of opportunities on the market. I don't know why they're being hesitant to do it, unless there might just be a little bit of, you know what, these cases that we've got against you, you guys need to be ready for something coming in here. That's the only thing I can think that would stop them. Because, James, Man City usually work pretty well in the market.
100%.
Alvarez is still there, let's not forget. The more I think about it, the more confused I am by it. But you've already given the reasons why they usually paper over those cracks, right? It's Erling Haaland, it's Kevin De Bruyne, it's Rodri, it's Ruben Diaz, it's Edison, it's Pep Guardiola. Like, they might not need to sign anybody and they'll still be the best team in Europe.
But you mentioned the fact of after achieving those sort of heights, the thing about it, the difficult part is about going again. And Guardiola is always mentioned, if you stay still, teams are going to catch up with you. Teams have already seen who Manchester City's teams expected. In fact, the sign of Guardiola, like, lets me know that Guardiola wants to shore up that defense completely to the point of views, Jack. They're conceding no goals, and then they got Erling Haaland from banging them in. But Jack, the fact of the matter is, right now, where Manchester City is, teams can catch them. And by the and guys, and like for me, by them making these signings or like losing all these players and not really like signing players of high quality, it's gonna make you feel like we can catch you. And you know, like Guardiola always talked about going again, refreshing. Are they gonna refresh? Because Jack, to a certain point, Jack, the season's gonna start in what, 3 weeks time?
Yep.
Are we going to get these signings ready to go again by August? Granted, Manchester City are known as a bit of a slow team recently, but 9 times out of 10, Jack, when Man City want their man, they get him quick, they get him in, and then they get going. This year's been a bit of a slog. This is the most unlike Manchester City transfer window. You
And
know,
James, the amount being paid for Vardiol as well, that's a lot. I don't know if I would be happy with the value for money there. James, let's not forget as well, Transfermarkt have Arsenal's squad value ahead of Man City's now, right?
come on, yeah.
That's kind of nice. And Arsenal have not messed around. Okay. Arsenal supposedly needed a holding midfielder. They needed the replacement for Xhaka. They've signed a centre back, right? There might be one or two other spots in the team. Arsenal are happy to spend the money. They've spent a lot of money, and Arsenal have certainly closed the gap a little bit. Now, we can have the conversation. I know we've spoken, especially on social media, about is it really an upgrade on Thomas Partey with Rice? Question marks, right? Havertz an upgrade on Xhaka, etc., etc. But the point is, 3 starting caliber players have been brought in to this Arsenal team that already were top of the table for the vast majority of last year. Man City have signed a centre-back who, James, I've got to be honest with you, is this Guardiola guy, is he any better than Ruben Diaz or John Stones? I'd say probably not. I'd still probably take those 2 guys ahead of him. Are you paying nearly 100 million for your third choice centre-back? It's not the most glaring thing ever. All I can say, like I've said already, I think we'll see Calvin Phillips. I think we'll see Foden. Maybe we'll see a bit more Julian Alvarez, and I just think that that'll be the way they'll handle it. Maybe, but like I said to you, James, Kvaratskhelia through the door, Joshua Kimmich through the door, Verratti, Nicola Barella. Are you going to be overly surprised come the end of the transfer window where they've spent 250 million, 3 starters, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, and Laporte have gone, and then you look at the team and go, man, somehow it's better than last year.
Jack, I just pray, and everybody else who's trying to catch Manchester City in the Premier League, especially, that let's just pray that they get a little bit complacent.
Yes.
But with Guardiola at the helm, that word doesn't seem to exist. So let's see what happens, City fans. Yeah, are you happy with this squad? Have you gotten weaker? And will you win the quadruple, the treble, the double next year? Let us know. Comment down below, guys. This is Box to Box Football, and me and Jack will see you next time.